Hi students, today we are looking at the lesson for surface area, and your learning target is I can find the surface area of many different shapes. And just for today you'll just need a pencil, and if you still have your cube from class on Friday, that would be helpful to have, but it's not necessary. If you don't have it, maybe you can look for a dice or a shoebox or something like a cube or a rectangular prism. It might just help you a little bit to visualize the concept for today. Even something like your phone might even work to represent a rectangular prism. All right, so again, let's just refresh. A prism is a three-dimensional object. So a prism is anything. We can have a triangular prism. It's like this, and it has the 3D aspect to it. We can have a cube, which is basically a square prism. We can have rectangular prisms. We can have octagonal prisms. We can have all kinds of different prisms. And the main key to a prism is that it has two sides that are the same. And I know on this triangle one you can't see the other side, but there would be two triangles that are the same. This cube would have two sets of sides that are the same. And when I say sides, the proper term for them are faces. Okay, so the face of, if you have a die and it has all the 6 numbers on it, the side with just the 1 dot, this whole flat part is called a face. Maybe on the top you'll have the 3 dots. That's another face of a prism. Okay, so all prisms have faces. So a face is just the flat part of the prism. And when you're looking at a prism, you name it based off of the faces that it has 2 of. So this one has at least 2 faces that are the same, and there's they're both squares. So that means that this is a cube. This one has 2 rectangular faces that are the same. So that's why this is called a rectangular prism. And then this one, while it has a rectangle right here and a rectangle right here, they're not directly across from each other. So we need to look for the faces that are directly across from each other, which is the triangles. These triangles are, if you kind of picture them like sandwich bread, they're kind of like the top and the bottom of the prism, and those are the faces of this three-dimensional object, so we call it a triangular prism. All right, but more importantly, we're looking at how to find the surface area of lots of different shapes. And we already know the formulas for area of different shapes. A square or a rectangle you find by doing base times height. A triangle is 1/2 base times height. And these are already in your other notes, but this is just a refresher. And the area for a circle is pi r squared. Ooh, pi r squared. And I think that's all we're going to be working with for today. I think it is, yeah. Okay, so actually we're not even going to be working with circles on this lesson, so you don't need to worry about this one perfectly today. All right, so let's go ahead and look at this cube. And if you remember in class on Friday, we built a cube and we started with a net, and it kind of looked like this, and it had the 6 faces on it. And then you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you took them and you folded it up and you made it into a cube. But before you did that, you measured each one of these faces and you told me what the area was. If you measured in inches, it was 4 inches. If you measured in centimeters, it was 25 centimeters. Then when you folded it back up, I explained to you that the surface area is the area, the total area of all of the sides of the three-dimensional object. So like this one, I have a red side here. And I have, let's see what other colors. I have a pink side on this side. I have a yellow side underneath. I have a blue side on top. And then this is where it's kind of tricky to show you on a computer, but I have a green side in the front, and then I have, let's see, what color? I guess we'll do like a light orange. I have a light orange color in the back, and that's the hardest one to show you on the computer. But if you have a dice, each one of the sides of the dice will be a different measurement that you'll have to add when you're finding the surface area. So with a cube, all of the faces have the same measurement because a cube is a square, and squares are perfect, so they always have the same measurements. And for this one, we had the one that we did in class on Friday, we had the surface area of one side was 4 inches squared, or 4 square inches. And we knew that we had 6 sides. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So 4 sides of the square times 6 gave us a total of 24 square inches for our surface area. All right, now with a rectangle, it's slightly different. In fact, if you have a shoebox, go ahead and go grab one, or use your phone or something like that, so that you can label these sides and it can be really clear to you. So first of all, make sure that you know we're going to label these sides. So this is going to be side 1, side 2, the top will be side 3, the bottom will be side 4, the front will be side 5, and the back will be side 6. Okay, so we have 6 sides still, and we're just going to go through and find the area, the normal area of each one of those shapes, and then we're going to add them all up. So we're going to get a number for each one of these, and then we're going to find the sum of those numbers, and that is going to be our total surface area. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. For this one, I'm going to erase my numbers first so it doesn't get too confusing on here. Okay, so for this length from right here to here, we're going to say that this is 2 inches. And then we're going to say that this top height right here is going to be 4. And then we're going to say that this really long side going all the way across is 10. Okay, so you have 2 for the width, 4 for the height, and 10 for the length. That's basically what we're looking at, all right? So if you're looking, and I'm going to do my very best to color code this and make it as simple as possible. If you're looking at just this top square right here, the top of the shoe box or the top of this box, what are my lengths that I need? Well, I need a length and a width, so I have a 2 and a 10. What is 2 times 10? It's 20. Okay, so for my top side, this pink box, I got a 20. And the cool thing about rectangular prisms is that if you look directly across or directly down from whatever shape you're working on, whatever side you're working on, this bottom piece will be the same as the top. If you have a shoebox in your hand right now, you can see the bottom and the top have the same exact measurements. So if I know the top is 20, the bottom side must be 20 as well. The second side must be 20 as well. And that's because the width is still 2 right here, and the length all the way across is still 10. And 2 times 10 is 20. Okay, so I have 2 measurements. Here's 20 and here's 20. Now I'm going to erase this so you can follow along for the next side. So I'm going to pause the video for just a moment. All right, now it's time to focus on 2 more sides. So I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to change my color again. I'm going to focus on these sides of the box or the shoe box, whatever you're looking at. And again, I need a length and a width to find the area of my rectangle, or base times height. So right here I have a 4 and a 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. So this face of my rectangular prism is going to be 8. And then I can look across from it, and I know that this is 2 and this is 4. because of the measurements that were given over here. So 2 times 4 is 8. So I have my next two sides are going to be 8 and 8. All right, and that makes sense. These two sides are going to be the exact same. And then we just need to find one more side that's going to be the sides that are on this picture are facing me, this side right here. And I'm going to erase some of these things on here to get more room. Just a minute, sorry. All right, let me add my 8s back in here. Okay, so I found 4 sides. I need to find these last 2 sides, which is this side right here, my 4, all the way over. Oops, that should be a straighter line, sorry. It should be this front face right here. So I know that the height right here is 4, and then this length right here is going to be 10, because that's what my measurement tells me right here. So 4 times 10 is 40. I know that rectangular prisms have the same length on this back, so this back side right here, that's really hard to pick out on a computer, but this one right here is going to be 40 as well. So I have 40 plus 40, and I've got all 6 sides. Now I can just add them up and find my answer. So 20 plus 20 is 40. And 40 plus 40 plus 40 is 120. And 120 plus 8 plus 8 is 16. So 120 plus 16 is 136. And I believe I said that this was inches, so it'll be 136 square inches will be my final answer. Okay, so the basic way that you find the surface area of shapes is you literally find the area of all the surfaces. That's why it's called surface area. So for this one, this shape below, we have a triangular prism. And we have, what do we have here? We have, if you evaluate it, we have 2 triangles that are in there. We've got this front triangle and the back triangle. And then we have 1, 2, 3 rectangles. So we're going to need all 3 of the rectangles. Oops, let me slide this down a little more. You'll have all 3 rectangles that you'll need to find the surface area of. And you're literally just finding the areas of each of the shapes. And then you're adding them all together. So try this one on your own. I'm going to give you the measurements right now. I'm going to say this length right here, it's probably more properly referred to as the width. We're going to say is 2. And this measurement right here is going to be 6. This height of the triangle right here is also going to be 6. And then this line right here, this dotted line, is going to be 8. Okay, there's my dotted line. It's going to be 8. So take a moment and find all the surface areas of each of these shapes that are on this triangular prism, and then add them all up and see what you get for your final answer. I'm going to do it as well, and you can check your work. Okay, if you have not already tried to solve this problem, completely try to solve it, and then I'm going to go over it right now with you. Okay, so here are the measurements that I got. I did my triangular faces first. So I did 6 times 6 was 36, and I know that my formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So 36 divided by 2 gave me 18. So I have 18 for my first face and 18 for the back face. And then I did this rectangular prism, or this rectangle next, and 6 times 2 gave me 12. And then I'm doing this rectangle next, and 6 times this also is 2 because this is 2. 6 times 2 is 12 again. And then for this rectangle that's over here, I did 8 times 2 because this is 2 and this is 2. So 8 times 2 gave me 16. Sorry, my cat is deciding to meow. And then I just need to add them all up. So once you add those up, you will get your answer. And I got my answer of 76. So now go ahead and in your own words, write and explain how to find the surface area of three-dimensional shapes.